Hi everybody, Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food on both YouTube and Facebook. Bulletproof coffee, pink headband, pink trim on the bathrobe. It just doesn't get better than this. Today's topic is part of the 5-part series, and this is called The Habit. And, the habit is very, very similar to the addiction, but a habit, I think, can be broken. And perhaps you've been to those seminars with the gurus that talk about, breaking a habit. It takes 21 days. And indeed it might. It could take less, but that's what they say. And as you know, I rely on them for my regurgitating of things. So anyway, I know that a bad habit, right? We talk about bad habits like standing up and eating, nighttime eating, eating off of your kids' plates, eating in the kitchen when you clear the table if you serve things buffet style. There's tons and tons of bad habits surrounding food, or a case of the F-its where you dive in and just have something you're not supposed to because you're totally stressed out. It's there, and there you go. Now, a food addict and somebody that has a habit of doing things that lead to overweight, mindless eating, that mindless eating thing, that's what I think a bad habit is surrounding food. And, not measuring. I don't frequent the franchises for anything, but when I've been there with my women, when they get their Dunkin' Donuts things, and they say to the person that's making the coffee, 3 and 3, which means 3 shots of cream and 3 things of sugar. And the sugar is an overloaded tablespoon, which is really the equivalent probably of 2 or 3 tablespoons, right? And so they just in. And if it was measured out, it'd probably be 1/3 of a cup of sugar, right? And so that's a tough habit. I mean, I'm going to be addressing sugar with my women in January because most of them are addicted to it and don't even know it, right? It's the unaware part. So a bad habit is forgetting to take your vitamins, forgetting to drink enough water, forgetting to pack your lunch. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of a self-sabotage molded into a bad habit, a habit. And just saying, if you just dash into the store, I work with somebody, and yesterday she said to me, I just run into the store and fill my cart and leave. I don't give it a thought. I don't plan. And she was watching me yesterday for the first time and how I compose the menus for the 2 houses for the women, and then the shopping list, and then the pruning of the shopping list at Stop and Shop, and then the BJ's and the Shaw's added on, and then the pruning of that, and then the looking at coupons and the flyers. It takes hours to do it. And she said, I just throw stuff in the cart. And it's just like, I'm sitting there thinking about all of us, right? Totally obsessed no matter what program we're on. And I see that a few people are joining Lose It because it's free and you save money with the Weight Watchers, and that's what I ended up doing with my books from Amazon on nutrition and health. I decided that one of those per month is more fun, along with the podcasts of the people that I love that I buy their books. So these bad habits, that could be a bad habit, right? No self-care. And, if you work outside of the home and you have to pack things to bring with you, it could be a bad habit not to take care of yourself. Some of you have seen my meals when I've done my meals, mostly when I was on Weight Watchers before I did the low-carb, healthy fat move. But, so if you're not packing, things, even down to like, are you washing your fruit? Are you steaming things, just a few minutes so there's some crisp left in the green vegetable? Are you, just little habits of like, I just don't really care about myself or my family. and you just like do something. But the bad habit about yourself is, you know, just the shoving in, and sometimes we have to, the confession booth is open and people talk about stuff, but I think a habit can be let go of. And I know that I'm a food addict. I know that I have a food addiction. And the dangerous things that I used to have are long gone, long gone. And they have to be. It's the cake. 40 years ago, it used to be the Lipton onion soup mix dip with Cape Cod chips or even Ruffles. I wasn't particular. I would have either one of them. I guess I was particular because it had to be one of them. But the Ruffles had held more. And I was a goner. I was a goner with chocolate chip cookie dough as a child. You know, I know that I am addicted to certain foods, but I have habits with others. And last week, I was I admitted it to you guys that I was having my little yogurt, chocolate, coconut oil, peanut butter treat every single night to cope through the week. And I realized that that was not a good habit. I wasn't addicted to it. I didn't have it last night. I won't be having it tonight. So that feels good. And for a bad habit, as there is with an addiction, there's a little bit of withdrawal if it's something that you had every day. Say it was cigarettes, you know, you would learn that you were addicted to all the chemicals and the nicotine in it. And so not only is it a habit with the whole deal of the lighter and the putting it in your mouth and lighting it and the pack and the whole deal, the physical part, you know, I mean, the manual part, so to speak, and then there was the physical part. And it could be that same way. If, here's another example, a bad habit is drinking, you know, 4, 5, 6, a whole pot of coffee every day. And maybe that's how you run, and you don't consider it a bad habit, and you consider it a BBC, a better bad choice. But for those of us that drank much more coffee and realized that, no, we'd like to cut back on it, and for me with the Bulletproof, I'd rather have 2 Bulletproof each day, some only 1, but on the days that I work, mostly 2, and rather than 3, 4, you know, cups and just all the stuff that I used to do to it. And so that was a habit that I had to break. I was not addicted to the fruit I was eating, but I definitely, 5 to 7 fruits a day was a bad habit for me. Or, you know, it was a better bad choice once I joined Weight Watchers, but definitely having non-starchy veggies is a much better habit to have. And I load up with my non-starchy veggies every day. You know, I have a salad. Sometimes it's bigger than another time, and with more things in it like avocado and some uncured ham, things like that. But then sometimes I just have salad with strictly veggies in it with my olive oil to go with my dinner, which is a small 3 to 4 ounce portion of animal protein, and then some more steamed organic veggies. And that's a good habit for me, right? And so a bad habit or a habit is something that you're just so used to that until you stop it or become aware of it, you don't even think of it as a habit. You know, I was using Bolthouse dressing, and I was kind of getting turned off by it, but I was still using it. I was mixing it with olive oil. And somebody on the YouTube or the Facebook page said, why don't you just make it at home? And it was like, it was a duh moment, because I just never gave it a thought. And so typically for me, being 65, a lot of my duh moments are the pivotal changes and in dropping habits. And here's one that has nothing to do with food, but say you were a teenager with your license and you had a crush on a boy. Did you ever have that habit of always driving by his house, or even later in life, driving by and checking out where the X is, what the X is up to, where his car is or his truck, checking it out. Is he at the gym? Is he at the bar? Is he there? How come that light's on in his house? That's a really bad habit that can turn into an obsession. Trust me, been there, done that. Don't want to go back. Oh my goodness, I feel so bad for people that get that far. But that's more, well, I don't know if that's a bad habit or obsession. But the bad habits, the habits for me, that are food related are things that it took a slow time, like going from a big plate to a little plate and saying, oh, that works. That's enough. Slowly, still wanting that little num-num sometimes, that little yogurt, chocolate, peanut butter thing, but giving up the other things, and I became so used to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That was a bad habit with my desserts. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and I never gave it a thought, except that Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I could have it. That could turn into an obsession. So habits and obsessions are closely related, and so is the addiction. So it's so interrelated. It's so personal, and it takes a lot of awareness and mindfulness of, where it trips over, where that flipping of the switch goes, like from craving to obsession. I would say that's a flipping of the switch. And so this one is the habit into the addiction. And for me, the habit of the cake, the cookie dough, the onion dip turned into an addiction. My body was craving the crap. And I had no say. I had no say over what my body wanted. So habits to me have bad in front of them, and I can work on them. And it's one at a time. I did it with the gum. I did it with the coffee. And I did it with the Bolthouse. I did it with the Coffee Mate. I did it with the Truvia to the Zyla. And now that I'm having less coffee, I'm using less Zyla, so it's not the expense that at first it was. Then I cut my Zyla in half. And I don't even notice it. There's a couple of days where you might notice something when you break that habit. Or start a good habit, right? Like, oh, I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk before I go to work because after work, I don't have time. Something like that. So replacing a bad habit with a good habit is a good idea. Replacing a bad, dubious, suspicious food with a better bad choice is better. And so that's how we go. It's always evolving. I mean, if you watched one of my videos from last April, it's like, it's nothing like what I'm doing now. Maybe it's the same for you. But this is getting lengthy, and I'm long in the tooth, so it's time to go because it is a work day and a walk day. Have a wonderful day. This has been Sarah. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next time, bye-bye for now.